Now, we're going to talk a bit about the sort of topic of the time, really, fake news and how the BBC sees it. And we're incredibly proud to be coming back to India this year with a series of concrete solutions that we want to work on in partnership with organisations like yourselves, and we'll talk about those in a second. But first of all, we're going to see a visual reminder of the extent of the problem. So here we go.
Where are you from?
BBC.
Okay. Here's another beauty.
It's a good line. Impartial, free and fair.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. President.
Just like CNN, right?
On the travel ban, we could banter back and forth. On the travel ban, would you accept that that was a good example of the smooth running of government?
Yeah, I do. Let me tell you about the travel.
Were there any mistakes in that?
Wait. I know who you are. Just wait. Let me tell you about the travel ban. We had a very smooth rollout of the travel ban, but we had a bad court.
Okay, he's got gold fishing there. So I think that's just an example of what we all traditionally know as the fake news issue. But I suppose the case I'm here to present today is that I feel actually the American leg of the fake news story is actually a distraction from a much, much bigger and more pressing issue. I think actually the US media market is robust, well regulated. They're big and ugly enough to take care of themselves. And I think the kind of Trump CNN argument and the argument between the Trump and the mainstream media in the US is a part of a global fake news problem, but it's much less significant part than what we're seeing in parts of South Asia and indeed countries in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa in particular. Because I think what you've all seen in your own national markets is the sense in which fake news has become much more than just a media talking point involving a colourful US president. It's actually becoming an explicit threat to people's lives, livelihoods, their well-being and their security. And I think that's happening for a number of different reasons. I think broadly, we'll bring this out in the chat, but I think broadly the fact that the barriers to entry for publishing digital content have fallen to zero. A generation ago, you had to buy a chain of newspapers or a TV station to get into the news business, and that would cost you, tens, if not hundreds of millions of pounds. Now you can do it for nothing from your bedroom, you can do it on a chat app, you can do it online in any number of other forums. And I think the slide we put up here, we just tried to pull out a few examples of the kind of difficult and dangerous stories that are circulating in fake news in India. So this is a kind of common anti-vax theory that comes up quite often in fake news about people using news platforms to propagate an anti-vaccination agenda. I've pulled up a few other examples, so I have some of my younger staff have been sort of looking out for me of things that they see flowing to and fro on their own feeds. And I think one of the things that these examples reminded me was that a lot of fake news can be really low tech. It's literally people just writing things that aren't true and then writing BBC on the end of it. And it runs the whole gamut from really, really sophisticated video fakes that are branded as BBC News and aren't. You might have seen a faked up political poll for Karnataka elections that carried BBC branding that was fake, but also kind of really rudimentary stuff like this, which is spreading exponentially on social platforms and chat apps. And because these apps aren't searchable, it's very hard for us to see it. It doesn't really surface until somebody rings up and tells us about it.